The phone rang at 2:03 a.m. No one calls at that hour with innocence. I stared at the ceiling for a second before reaching over to grab it from the nightstand. The empty side of the bed beside me was still cold. She had said she was going to her sister's place for the night because they needed girl time. The caller ID read, Aisha. I answered calmly. Yeah? Her voice was hushed, slightly breathless. Hey, I'm at my sister's. Don't wait up. I sat up slowly. You're at Zara's? I asked. Yeah, she replied quickly. We're just talking. She's going through a lot. Interesting. Because Zara had posted an Instagram story 2 hours earlier, at a restaurant across town with co-workers. I remembered it clearly because I had absent-mindedly tapped through it while watching TV, and there was no sign of my wife. Put her on, I said casually. What? Put Zara on the phone. A pause. She's, in the shower. At 2 a.m., I almost smiled. Okay, I said lightly. I'll call her myself. No, she snapped too fast. Then softer. I mean, she's probably asleep. Now I knew. I swung my legs off the bed and stood up. Stay on the line, I said. Why? Just stay. I walked into the living room, opened my contacts, and tapped Zara's name. It rang twice. She answered groggily. Hello? Hey, Zara, I said evenly. You home? Yeah, why? I switched back to the other call and merged them. Then I said calmly, Aisha, you said you were at your sister's? Want to repeat that? Silence. Thick, heavy, loud. Zara's sleepy confusion turned sharp instantly. Aisha? What's going on? My wife didn't speak. I could hear faint music in the background on her end, not the quiet of a home, more like a lounge or a car stereo. I'm waiting, I said quietly. Aisha finally whispered, Zara cut in, fully awake now. She's not here. Another silence. I didn't raise my voice, didn't accuse, didn't curse. I just asked, so where are you? A long exhale. Out, she said. With who? No answer. Zara's tone changed completely. Aisha, what did you do? The faint sound of a car door shutting came through the speaker. That told me everything. I'm coming home, Aisha said quickly. No, I replied calmly. Take your time. Then I hung up. Zara stayed on the line. What's happening? She asked quietly. I sank into the couch. I think you already know. She sighed heavily. I told her to be honest with you. Of course she did. This wasn't random. It had been building. For months, Aisha had been distant, phone glued to her hand, smiling at messages she wouldn't show me. Late-night drives to clear her head. I wasn't stupid. I just needed confirmation. And tonight, she handed it to me herself. At 3:17 a.m., I heard the front door unlock. She walked in softly, as if silence would erase reality. I stayed seated in the dark living room. When she saw me, she froze. You're still awake. Clearly. She set her purse down carefully. Let me explain. I shook my head slightly. Before you do, answer one thing. She swallowed. Were you alone? The pause was microscopic, but it was there. No, she said quietly. I nodded once. With him? Another pause. Yes. There it was. Not suspicion, not paranoia. Truth. Who? I asked. She hesitated again. Samir. The name hit, but didn't shock me. Her gym trainer. The one who texted her motivational quotes at midnight. How long? I asked. She looked down. A few months. Months. While I was planning our anniversary trip. While I was picking out paint for the house she wanted. While I was defending her mood swings to my parents. And tonight? I asked. She didn't answer. I stood up slowly. Don't lie again. You've exhausted that privilege. Her eyes filled with tears. It wasn't supposed to go this far. It never is. Did you sleep with him? I asked plainly. She nodded once. That was the only confirmation I needed. There was no explosion inside me. No yelling. Just a strange calm. Pack a bag, I said quietly. Her head snapped up. What? Go stay somewhere real this time. You're kicking me out? I'm removing myself from disrespect. She stepped closer. It was a mistake. No, I said evenly. It was planning. Her voice rose slightly. You don't even fight for us. I looked at her steadily. I did. Every day you were lying. Silence filled the room. She tried one last tactic. You'll regret this. I almost smiled. I regret marrying someone who calls at 2 a.m. and lies without blinking. She packed through tears. I didn't help. At the door, she turned. Are you really ending this over one night? I held her gaze. No, I said softly. I'm ending it over the moment you thought I was stupid. The door closed behind her, and the house felt peaceful. The next morning, I called a lawyer. By afternoon, I changed the locks. By evening, I blocked Samir's number from our shared accounts. Zara came over later that day. She didn't defend her sister. She just said quietly, "You didn't deserve that." No, I didn't. Weeks later, when the divorce papers were filed, Aisha tried reaching out. I panicked that night. You humiliated me, I replied. You embarrassed me on speaker. I stared at the message for a long time before responding. No, I typed. You embarrassed yourself. Sometimes the loudest moment in a marriage isn't shouting, it's silence. The silence after truth is exposed. The silence when excuses die. The silence when someone realizes their lie didn't survive 30 seconds on speakerphone. She called at 2 a.m. thinking I'd believe her. Instead, I just asked her to repeat it, and that was enough.